Hey everybody, welcome to a special Holotheatre event. I am, as always, Dan Tartaglione, also known as D Tartag One. Joining me tonight from the great state of thinking the Yankees are a good baseball team, I'm
I
joking,
do not. I do not.
is the man himself, our design advocate, Mr. Chris Kelly. How are you doing tonight, Chris?
Good. How you been, Dan?
I can't complain. Tonight, as always, I mean, I love having these, our little, having you on for these. These make me a lot. These make me happy when we do these kind of events. Been doing them for a while now, and honestly, I could not be more excited for this new virtual set. Uh, it's it's been a little bit. It's been a while coming. Uh, I'm just gonna preface this right now. Uh, the meta from set 24 to now has been in some serious flux. I mean, set 24, uh, we saw like a great errata after Worlds. Uh, in Vegas, we saw like the rise of the indoor ops decks. I mean, heck, we saw those at Worlds last year as it is. At Jersey, we saw Rescue the Princess, Quiet Mining Colony, Walkers, Hunt Down V. So the meta's been kind of changing, and it's not been by the cards, it's been by the players learning like new things, different things. I'm going to be interested to see like what kind of stuff the players come up with these new cards. Uh, Now we've already seen a few of them get spoiled. I know Kendall. He talked about the whole "Mind What You Have Learned" theme. Do you have anything to say about that before we go ahead and get into it?
Yeah, it looks fun. Hopefully, players find it fun. Hopefully, it comes in at the right power level. I know everyone on design, and in particular Andrew, worked super hard on balancing it to be thematic with the movies and also fun to play. I've played a few test games against it, and it comes in so far. I think pretty well in meeting both the power level and also being fun.
So I guess my next question with that is, how do you feel about? Do you see the players testing past test three, or are they going to continue to say it's test three or nothing?
There's kind of there's no downside to trying to test to five. At least when you start. I found in my test game, I thought I was going to want to drain early to kill the tests, but then I was like, well, if Luke stays on Dagobah, that's one of his bigger threats, and with the character
Mm-hmm.
restrictions that has, I kind of played into that a little bit. So I'm excited to see what players will do. I think they'll probably play it by ear. If the game allows them to get the power of test five, they'll do it, but there's certainly no urgency. And once you get to three, that's probably when most people will take Luke and put him into action.
Mm-hmm.
But if the situation dictates, it's kind of cool that they'll have that opportunity to try.
Now we know we have a tested team. Greg Zinn, Scott, Ryan Saracen. There's a bunch of players who like to play mine, which you have learned. Have you heard anything from those players who are like hardcore mine, which you have learned players? Like any feedback regarding this?
They've been suspiciously silent, so I think they're up to something. It's I think it's cool because the virtual version is different. It doesn't have a
Mm-hmm.
wide open character base. You can't just drop EPP Qui-Gon and make him immune to attrition basically less than four. So it's definitely a different character base and plays differently. Test three will not be abusive like it can be in the non-virtual version because it is limited, and even Test five is limited too. So I
Okay.
don't think it'll have the same. I hope it won't have the same negative impact experience that some people think training leads itself to. It's kind of we're encouraging interaction. So I think it'll be a different feel, but also get the thematics of Luke trying to be a Jedi.
Now, do we have anything coming down? Like I know Test Six has been like the forgotten stepchild of the testing community, even like past Tests Four and Five. Any thoughts on bringing Test Six back into the limelight?
You can float Test six if you want in the deck. It's Destiny six. It's not hurting you. So you certainly can try it. I like to cheat with training, and instead of like testing up through six, I just deploy the character who already has ability six, and it's a lot easier that way. But if people want to try the hard path, that's up to them. But I think it does come in at a fun spot, and it's
Mm-hmm.
honestly it was in the games I played against it, it's just cool to see Son of Skywalker with Yoda at Yoda's hut. Um, that hasn't been seen in forever. Even current training decks use Daughter of Skywalker, so it's really cool to see the Empire Strikes Back cards all together. That's fun.
And I think a lot of people have said that like Son of Skywalker is one of the most iconic images, the best image from the Decipher era. So I can imagine just like seeing the joy in your face, seeing people play Son of Skywalker, even though he's not Destiny 6.
Well, he won't affect your destiny because he won't be in your reserve deck too long. So
Hopefully. So why don't we go ahead and get into it? We're going to start, as always, with our dark side cards. We have a few of them to get through. Again, I know a lot of the light side cards have already been spoiled with the My What You Have Learned V. So we're going to go ahead and get right into it. Introducing set 25, everyone. Like I said, our dark side. We're going to start off with our first new. We're going to start off with a new objective. It is going to be called the First Order Reigns. It's going to be to be determined with a card underneath of it, but obviously you can read it on screen. This is coming from the episode 8, where the First Order is essentially chasing the Radis through hyperspace. Who came up with this idea?
everything is collaborative in design. So it wouldn't, everyone works together with things. It kind of borrows stuff from various ideas, for example. And obviously it'll be easier if everyone just reads the cards on the screen than us going through it. But just briefly, like tracked fleet represents the Radis. Tracked fleet represents the Resistance fleet that the Resistance is trying to run away from the First Order, but eventually it will run out of gas, right? Eventually they'll run out of space fuel. So 3 times per game you can move it back and forth. And eventually, when it's annihilated, when they destroy the tracked fleet, the Resistance is doomed. So it kind of borrows a little bit from like Rescue the Princess, where the dark side has the option to kill cards from hand to delay your flip. Well, this is similar in that the light side can kill cards from hand to keep its tracked fleet from running entirely out of gas until it does.
So we'll show track fleet in a second, but again, quick rundown. Notice that the Subserviency obviously is involved in the objective. It is the big starship from episode 8. I know there was the other one at the beginning. I forget what it was called, the Dreadnought. But then once you flip, I like how the dark side immediately retrieves 3 force, so you kind of get to time it when you want to flip. So you can get around things like the light side cower shield, which I cannot think of.
Simple tricks and nonsense.
Simple tricks and nonsense. Thank you.
Yeah.
And then it revolves around the salt plateau, so interesting there. And again, it's kind of like the map where you turn off your opponent's retrieval. Why bringing that back from from the map into this objective?
I should have said from the start, obviously, everything is a spoiler and subject to change. So until something's PDF, subject to change, we spoil these early because we want public feedback. We want, people to let us know what we got wrong or let us know what we got right. So everything is subject to change. We're still tweaking on things. And earlier when I said everything from design's collaborative, that includes everyone from design in the past too. Obviously, there's people that, like Drew served on design, was obviously instrumental in this as well. So I want everyone to know that it's the whole team, including everyone in the past who contributed. As far as the question for the retrieval, it just seems like a first order type thing to have big power, go in, destroy, and not let you get your resources back. They just want to go in, crush, annihilate, and do that type of stuff. On the other side, their forfeits are kind of low. So we don't have like an Imperial Arrest Order type effect that boosts their forfeits. They're like a glass cannon. They smash, and they don't think about anything else. So they just really try to destroy you, destroy your resources, and so that kind of was why we felt, a retrieval denial on this objective was kind of with the First Order type theme.
And it's interesting that this is the first time in a long time we've seen an objective that can be placed out of play. Again, this one would be placed out of play if Kylo is forfeited from battle you lost at the site, the Salt Plateau, that involves Luke, Han, or Leia. So, understandably, why Luke, Han, and Leia. So, but I'm just interested to see like how often that came up during testing. How often was it placed out of play?
That's one of the things we're kind of still tweaking a little bit because you're right. It's a balance of we don't want it to be something that never comes into play because then why put it on the card?
Mm-hmm.
But we also don't want it to be something that will cause players to shy away from putting Kylo at the salt plateau. So we're still kind of balancing that, but we did feel it's appropriate that while the resistance is in fact doom, Luke can show up and crush Kylo's spirit, that he didn't win this day, just like the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So we're still working on that, but it seems like a good thematic, way to balance and curb the objective. You brought up a good point that most objectives don't flip back nowadays. We kind of wanted a way for light side to counter that. So that's what we came up with.
Okay. So moving on, we'll go ahead and get into our next slide, which is Captain Moden Kennedy and Cardo. So the first
Yeah,
one we'll talk about is the captain. Again, so
yeah. The deck is first order space. First order has big ships. Captain Kennedy is, I think he's charged of the dreadnought, the
mm-hmm.
fulminatrix. So he works well with that, and he just wants to battle. He just wants to engage and fight, and his game text kind of shines through with that. He also grants the fulminatrix some immunity, so you're gonna want to pair them up.
And interesting to see that he cancels alternatives, hit and run, reacts, so hyper escape, obviously hit and run, stuff that makes it so that your opponent leaves the battle. Again, kind of fitting. Again, the full matrix. This is the guy that I believe at the beginning when Poe was like trying to tease Hux. This is the guy who's like, "Why are you messing with Poe? Just shoot him."
Yeah. He just wants to engage in battle. He pilots the dreadnought. That's their
Mm-hmm.
role is just to destroy. So that's all he wants to do. So when he's in space, you can't avoid the battle the way Lightside likes to.
Okay, and then moving on, Cardo is our third Knight of Ren. Actually, our fourth because we already had one spoiled. Again, thank you, Chris, for letting me do that.
I think
He's
is
the
he
one
the
with the arm
third?
cannon. Well,
No, no.
he's well.
Is he the
There's
third one?
Aplak, there's Vikrel, or however you say
Oh,
his name,
I yeah.
and then
Okay.
there's the
Yep.
one
Yep.
on the ship.
Yep. Yep. You're right. Yeah. He's just a Knight of Ren. We found that the objective, because it's so character based restricting to just be episode 7 characters,
Mm-hmm.
it needed more guys. He was an easy choice for an EPP. Knight of Ren, we're kind of building up slowly the whole Knight of Ren theme. We have some other cards down the pipeline that deal specifically with them, but eventually they're going to hopefully all kind of work together and have their own type deck. But he seemed like a perfect fit for the deck. He's a pilot, so you can throw him on a ship if you want.
Mm-hmm. And again, with an episode 7, so not only this objective, the your objective, so map, legend, old allies, any of those objective, he gets to draw Battle Destiny if unable to otherwise. I kind of like that, showing like the power of these episode 7 characters that came out of nowhere.
And that'll be good with new Mind What You've Learned for test 2. Gets
Yeah,
around test 2.
yeah, getting around test 2 is a good thing. Okay, moving on over. Our next slide is we'll talk about Vic Rel. Again, he was spoiled. If you pay attention to the PC's Twitter account, he's the one who gets power +1 for each card out of play, and you anytime you drain with him, you can put the topmost interrupt or an opponent's lost pile out of play. So I like the change that he was like putting an interrupts out of play seems very good. I mean, we've seen that with like No Escape, Unita. So, however, I notice it doesn't stop you from putting out of play Hushix. Why?
He's kind of narrow to begin with just being interrupts, and in ways. Obviously, he's posted with different texts, so thank everyone for the feedback on that. And there's we've had some advisors, former D&D members, also helping out. It just seemed like text that was either non-consequential or going to
Mm-hmm.
be a blowout. So by focusing it to be lost pile of interrupts, that kind of stops things like Solo. Obviously, the First Order, Kylo is obsessed with embarrassing Solo and making sure he doesn't work. It also will curb Watch Your Step a little bit.
Yeah.
So it limits their ability to keep replaying the same dodge or the same blast the door kit or whatever. And if you play Hujix as your last action, all right, it goes out of play. We felt it's just fair. It's narrow. It's avoidable. You can go interact with Vic Roll if you want to play your Hujix twice.
That's fair. Yeah, and Greg makes a good point in chat. If he's draining you, uh, for a while, it's no surprise when he it's you can also dictate where the card is. So
Yeah.
and yeah, Best Shuffle, Grappling Hook, those will work also in a pinch. So you just use those abilities during the activate phase before they drain with him.
Or you can also just play Lost Interrupt right before it if that interrupt is something that you really
Yeah.
need. Just play Lost Interrupt.
So now does the when he it's before you actually lose the damage to the force drain, correct?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, it's when you initiate.
And then moving on, we have Navy of the First Order. We have its First Order, Alert My Star Destroyer. Essentially, kind of does the same thing. Very thematic, very necessary for a First Order Episode 7 Starship deck.
I think this is my favorite card in the set. I love
Okay.
it. I want to play it in map. I want to play it with the new objective. It's just so cool. I just really like it. I think Alert My Starter Store is a little clunky because it has to be matching, understandably so.
Mm-hmm.
But this one, any first order pilot grabs any big first order ship. It's been really fun and playtesting to play. I really want to start this in map.
Okay, moving on. We talked about this one earlier. Tracked Fleet. It is an epic event, so you deploy it on the Dakar system. So a system that's already in, system that we already have. Uh, you may not deploy starships here, so you can't go straight to Dakar. Seems fitting. Uh, 3 times per game, like you alluded to, they can move it, but within 3 parsecs. And then if you control the system at the start of your turn, it's annihilated. It goes out of play, and thus you flip your objective. So very straightforward, very to the point, no nonsense card. I can imagine graphics has done an amazing job getting a nice image for this.
Yeah, it represents the fleet that the first order is chasing around.
And then we have more Kylo screaming. Give us your best more, Chris.
No, that's a dark. That's a dark side thing. I can't do that.
Yeah, you can. You're wearing black and Yankee gear.
Yeah, he's like more.
There we go. So you can fire an episode 1 blaster or a cannon, or episode 7, sorry, into a battle from an adjacent site. Kylo, you get to add 1 to just one destiny, including weapon, battle destiny, any destiny. And then you can fire 2 weapons, except for a lightsaber. It's, again, fitting with the lightsaber. Lightsabers should not swing twice unless they're maul or mace. But very good card, Destiny 5 card, and it's a use interrupt. So, you won't be able to really cycle it necessarily, but it is very
Kind of.
useful.
If Kylo's in battle, he can kind of cycle it.
Yeah.
But and I know rules team is still reviewing, but I did have a conversation with someone on the rules team, and they think that it probably will end up working with the EPP Vic roll because he has a cannon, and
Mm,
that's a weapon. So I know that it's not official yet. Let rules team do their thing, but it'd be kind of cool if it works with an EPP to fire twice, right?
yeah. There are things in the real world called hand cannons for a reason. So, moving on, we'll go to orbital bombardment. Again, another use interrupt. Uh, you get to add at a battle where you have a star destroyer up in space. You get to add 1 to your battle destiny. You get to add 2. So it's very straightforward. Again, very useful. This one, I feel like you can almost cycle because again, but it's a little bit. It's thematic, I'll tell you that. But at the same time, it feels like it's a little bit more limited than more.
Agreed. Yeah, yeah. It's more niche.
And then we move on to Crate, our salt planet. Dark side, you can shuttle from here for free. Makes perfect sense. We saw what the First Order did at the end of episode 8. And then again, light side, very, very thematic. Make them a little bit stronger, give them extra hyperspace or hyperspeed. The Salt Plateau, again, big card when it comes to your episode 7, tracking or whatever you want to call this objective now. Uh, Giving some power bonuses to the vehicles and defense value. And then I like this. On the light side, it makes it so that the opponent's force range can't be reduced or canceled. So no control, no force of our projection of Skywalker. No, it's a hit. Seems pretty solid.
Yeah, we want the Salt Plateau to kind of be a cornerstone of the deck. So we're still, like I said, moving around some things, tweaking some things. We want that site to be super important because that's where Kylo and Luke face off. That's where Kylo gets ready to invade the Resistance base. That's where all the action happens. So we kind of want to gain a lot of the action to happen there too.
And then we have the Crate Outpost Entrance Cavern, force range +1. Kylo may not be excluded. So again, pretty good site. And then, but I like this again. Force projection is immune to sense during a battle here. Very good card, very thematic, so makes perfect sense. We have the AT-M6. Those are that's the big cannon again from the big walkers at the end of episode 8. Very, very thematic. I mean, the fact that you can have multiple ones on the table is interesting. And
Big Walker.
Big Walker.
Big Walker.
This one makes it hit and so you can. So I like this. Like you already have it built in that you can fire it multiple times in a battle. So hitting something, you could potentially hit something for what? Make it -6 forfeit.
Yeah, with more and more. Yep, or a second one. Yep.
And then we have the Supremacy Bridge. It is a 2-0. I like that. Again, the light side has a certain restriction to it to make it so it's a force range -1. Makes perfect sense. And then, again, just boosting a little bit more power to the Supremacy, especially considering it does start on table.
And remember, also, Supremacy is huge. It's like bigger than the Executor, so it's a big boy.
Yeah, isn't it like the biggest starship ever?
Yeah, something like that. As long as you don't count like the Death Star, yeah, it's huge.
Well, it's a battle station.
No moon.
So then we have the Supremacy of the Throne Room. That's where Rey, Kylo fight it out after murking Snoke. Spoiler alert, I guess.
Yeah, and this is cool because it lets you grab Snoke. You'll see Snoke has some synergy with the Supremacy, but also you get a bow pull if you start bow. So that's a nice little way to get a guy out of battleground. Once he's there, he doesn't, he's kind of a liability himself, so you got to reinforce. But it's kind of a cool way. And at first I was like, it shouldn't be a battleground, but then you think about the movie, it's the battleground outside of the salt plains in the movie where all the action happens. So.
And Carl was asking in the chat, so he's asking if the AT-M6 is out already. Carl, patience. Moving on.
Which is already spoiled.
Yeah, we do have the full Minatrix. There's that big dreadnought. I like that it's a dreadnought, not a Star Destroyer, essentially. But again, you can have a bunch of pilots, passengers. If you move away, again, it costs your opponent some force, and then deploys -3 to the track fleet. So if you're playing it in this deck, it comes down to 6, 5. I think it's 5, maybe 4.
Yeah, it would be 5 if you start the effect, and then 4 if you start the effect and deploy it to Dakar. Remember, in this deck, you can't really pick where you're deploying to because you can't deploy to where the track fleet is.
And then moving on. So there we have it. The Supremacy itself. It is a Power 13, Armor 10, Hyperspace 2, and it's a Mega Class Dreadnought. Please tell me that's actually what it's called. Is like it's a Mega Class Dreadnought?
What JJ says.
Wait, JJ
Abrams.
He didn't make the movie.
Didn't he? Is it not? I don't know. I'm not saying the other guy's name.
So
you ruined my childhood.
I like that this one, it adds unlimited pilots, passenger starfighter vehicles, essentially the same thing. Permanent pilot is a ability of 4. That's huge. Immune to attrition less than 10 and 12 if Snoke's on board. And then while track fleet on here, immune to attrition, so pretty good. Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it does come down for 16 and forfeit of 16, but look at the executor. That thing comes. It's a 15-15. And then there is the AT-M6 that Carl was alluding to. Those big AT walkers, and those will allow you to deploy first order trooper from use pile. Interesting. So you throw it down for 6, get yourself a trooper for however much the troopers cost. So you can essentially pull what, Captain Phasma with this thing?
Phasma nines, 2109, and obviously the non-unique as well.
So there we have it, our Dark Side episode
And
7.
remember, with the 7 side of the objective, troopers are kind of incentivized to play because you can play them from lost piles. So,
Okay, moving on, we go into our next group of cards. First, we have one card that I know Chris is going to love to talk about, Mr. Salicious Crumb himself.
he went through a bunch of different iterations to get right. The one thing that we wanted to make sure was that he did something annoying to have the ah ha 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 text. At one point, it was when he deployed to a site, you could send a droid to use pile, even 3PO, so you could play him to 3PO site. But ultimately landed on this. I think it's kind of cool. He's sufficiently annoying, but not great, especially if you're going against a deck that's just never going to contest you at the audience chamber.
So here's my question. Would you play him, this new one, or would you play the original one that is also equally annoying?
Definitely this one because he kills a gift, and a gift kills scum. So this
True.
one is kind of an answer to a gift, and if they come fighting you, um, they have to spend some force or lose force or draw destiny. I
Mm-hmm.
do like how it's only on their turn, so it doesn't double up with battle order first strike.
That's fair. And then we have the Desert Heart, which is another new site. Once per turn, you can deploy. If you just deployed an alien here, you can raise. I like this, like getting a Jabba's Palace site back to the top. Seems very thematic. Helps against profit, which I know Scum needs. Same with my kind of Scum. And
Yeah,
then,
mostly my kind of scum needs a site that has Jabba's Palace icon on it for
mm-hmm.
Jabba's Haven, but also Agents of the Court just rolls it because it can just convert all your sites, um, to the point where you don't start Jabba's Palace and then you're already force choked. So
That's fair.
this is mostly my kind of scum helper.
And then we have the Client's Bounty, which is immediate effect. Works with bounty hunting, works with the client. I like seeing those card that doesn't see a lot of play nowadays. Maybe we'll see some more play with that. And then IG-88's Pulse Cannon. IG-88 will no longer just carry Boba Fett's gun. He'll have his own gun. And again, this is one that fires repeatedly. I love that because I don't know if you played it. I played the old Shadows of the Empire N64 game, and just his gun just shooting like multiple pulses at like just repeatedly at you was annoying.
Yeah, this is like a cool, unique weapon. We had a bounty hunter pod. Various people contributed, and obviously everything is a creation of everyone. But I know Tom had a huge impact. So thank him for this idea, which is super creative, and it gets you thinking about putting a Destiny 1 weapon into your deck that isn't a lightsaber, and it's a really great design.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. If you're a CCT player, I feel like this is almost like an auto pull, just because you play IG-88 as it is, and you can get this from your force pile.
Yeah, it's cool. Well, you can start it if you start IG-88 with any methods. You can take his weapon.
Yeah, but then you won't be able to get it from.
If you take IG-88, yeah.
Yeah, if you take IG-88. Moving on, we go into our Senate cards. We have two new Senate cards, and one is an epic event. The other one is a starting and loss interrupt. So let's talk. Why these? Why help out Senate now?
Why now? Senate hasn't been seen in a while. These are not as powerful as running the Senate effects themselves, but they still do give you some passive impacts. There's a really fun Senate deck out there that doesn't run any political effects. It just uses the senator's text, particularly the
Mm-hmm.
one with the attrition ad. So this kind of gives them a little spice. I know Taco Bill spoiled, one of the interrupts. He obviously was insanely influential and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're fun. I think they're cool, and it lets people toy around with it a little bit, see where it lands.
And so why these like modes essentially exactly? I mean, we have block save, taxation, trade, and wealth. Obviously, those are the modes for the senators themselves. But like canceling react, place a card with no printed destiny value greater than 4 onto your use pile to activate. Why these?
Most of them are stolen directly or highly inspired by the Decipher political effects. Remember, each one has a side effect. So you
Mm-hmm.
put a senator down to add 3 to Battle Destiny, and then it has side text that says, if a taxation agenda here, then this side text. The the text here is stolen mostly from those side effects. One of the exceptions is taxation originally was one of your next card is deploy -1. We found what we went with was a little more useful. We didn't want to allow you to cycle sevens all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it's no printed Destiny number greater than 4. But you can still put your senators back who are effectively fives and sixes,
Mm-hmm.
but printed threes.
Okay. And again, the interrupt is just basically you can pull yourself, of course, on guard if it's a lost interrupt, and you get to play. You get to go straight to your hand too, so that's an extra card. So that's a way of getting a course on guard if you need him, and then getting 2 effects along with the epic event. Like, what effects do you see the dark side playing? Like, there's got to be a plethora of them.
There's a plethora of them, and I think something that I like about this design is the the cards don't tell you where to go. Your deck building does. You can build space, you can build it ground, you can build it balanced. So I think that's really kind of cool and wide open. The light side one, obviously, strike planning, wobbling. But the dark side ones kind of open up, and I like that, and I'm excited to see where players take it.
Moving on, uh, just generic dark side cards. The first one is Balin's Skull. I like this one because it brings Balin in. He's such a really good character. Uh, he works with Shin, so
And that's Annie Talaga's card, his design.
mm-hmm.
I think it came out really well. It's really a unique design. Um, if you see him coming, you kind of gotta play around him. So it's very influential, impactful.
And then DS 61-3, kind of an interesting mirror to like knee and nub. I kind of like that.
Yeah,
And
we just didn't want him working on a Star Destroyer. That's the
mm-hmm.
reason for those particular classifications.
and then works with your essentially uh, watch your back, making it defense fight or Destiny +2.
Yep.
But you can't use the combo version because that'd be just crazy to make a Destiny value 5 card to a 7.
Yeah.
Just skip 6 entirely. And then we have Master Sidious. He works on Coruscant. Kind of does work with the whole Dark Side, Revenge of the Sith epic event. How does Bill feel about maybe his Lord Sidious being replaced?
I think that's a great point. I don't know that Lord Sidious is replaced in Rots. This one, I envision people running 1-1. The other Sidious is just so good. I like this one. This might be my second favorite card because, especially when you see it in print, it's everything. He's a
Mm-hmm.
Dark Jedi Master. He's an Imperial. He's a Republic. He's Trade Federation. He's a leader. He literally is behind everything, just like the movies. He works with all 3 modes. It's super cool. The young fool pull is obvious. He's Sidious. He has a power
Yeah.
interrupt, but originally his text was he canceled disarmed at his sight because what's he do with Vader? He rebuilds him. Vader gets disarmed. Sidious throws limbs right back on him. So the young fool eventually became easier to comprehend and to code rather than just constantly canceling disarm. He helps
Okay.
his apprentice. He has the Coruscant sight that the Vader Vader mode pulls that pulls
Mm-hmm.
him. And I foresee some stuff with him in Dooku when he's on Coruscant. So I think this is the overarching Lord Sidious, but then Bill's Lord Sidious is just such a good fighter.
Yeah, this is like the mastermind that works behind the scenes. I kind of like that. Like we have a, I'm working behind. I'm making my apprentice super powerful, making him fully immune to attrition as long as I'm
Mm-hmm.
sitting on Coruscant doing my own thing. And I'm assuming he's pulled by the site. Like
Yep. Yeah, the site will
so,
pull him, and then he can pull your hyperwave scan to protect your drains at your sites. He pulls unlimited power if you want to keep him on Coruscant. He's a separatist. He's everything. He's behind everything. It's kind of cool.
and then we have the Grand Inquisitor's lightsaber. I really like this one because it's another lightsaber for Hunt Down V, and it works on all the Inquisitors, but it works really well on the Grand Inquisitor.
Yeah, I think that's the way to go with cards like that. I wouldn't include it in my deck if it was only Grand Inquisitor, and it has to be better than Dark Jedi lightsaber. So hopefully that hits the spot.
Well, I do notice though it does not add to the force drain.
It's a trade off. There's reasons to include Dark Jedi. There's reasons to include this. Forfeit equals 0 helps you beat down. Um, it's stopping dodge doesn't just stop it for the react away. It also stops it for subtracting 3.
Which is a good, kind of an interesting trade off. Like you're more of a, I don't want to sit there and drain. I want to fight, fight, fight,
Mm-hmm.
swing at you, do what lightsabers do.
Yeah.
And then we do have a Rata for this one, No Escape V. Why No Escape V? Why erratating it?
Uh, Batmouse gets the points in the errata contest. Crash Site Memorial got around No Escape V. If No Escape V was placing Landing Claw out of play, Crash Site Memorial got the chance to respond first and could save it. So it's just a quick, smooth errata that hopefully won't have any impact on the meta beyond those few games where Batmouse exploited the loophole. So points to Batmouse, but the community wins this time.
So I gotta ask, what does Batmouse get for causing this errata? By
I don't keep track of the point game. I know there's some people on Slack. I don't know if it's like 5 points or 3 points if it's a virtual card. However many points he gets.
so if you see Batmouse, I know Batmouse is going to Columbus, and you want to play No Escape V. Make sure you present one to him to have him sign it.
That's what he gets. His prize is fame.
I was gonna say we can do, those political stickers we've seen. Like I've done that. Just get a
I,
picture of
I did
Batmouse.
that, yeah.
Get a picture of Batmouse pointing at the errata symbol. So, but that's our dark side cards. Obviously, there's some that we have a new objective. We have some that are going to help Senate, some that help something bounty hunters, aliens, and then just some 4 cards that essentially are extras, like no set theme. So I know you said your favorite card has been the ship pooler,
Mhm.
and then your second card is the Lord Sidious. Is there, what are you excited to, besides just seeing them and playing them? Like what are you excited to do with like some of these cards?
Dark side wise, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
Salacious Crumb is cool because he replaces a card in your hand. That kind of justifies his deck slot because he's otherwise pretty low powered. Um, I think the first order stuff should be good. That'll be exciting. I guess I should say people have properly so said the last few sets have mostly been meta sets where we're trying to like stop stuff that's overpowered and then push stuff that is underpowered. We haven't really had a new exciting theme, and this
Mm-hmm.
set gives us at least 2, possibly 4, maybe 5. So between Monster have learned First Order, I think they're ready to go. I think they're going to be playable out of the box. Brand new stuff that you got to read the cards on. But then there's the Senate stuff. Rots gets the mini helper in Sidious. There's some light side cards too. So I'm excited that for the first time in a while, we're not having the players create new decks. We're giving them new toys to play with in the sandbox. That
Mm-hmm.
the onus is no longer on them to be creative. Hopefully, they can take these, run with them, and then be creative.
So, and then moving on, we'll talk about our light set cards. We got a few light set cards to talk about, obviously. Again, Kendall and
Carl,
Carl. Well, I was
Andrew.
that's who I was forgetting the name of. They talked about the "Mind What You Have Learned" theme on Kendall's show. Big thank you to Kendall for that. But we do have a couple themes to talk about when it comes to light set. Our first one is Rebel Strike Team. This came out of left field. I'm sorry.
Did
Like
it? We got
I
Timo.
wasn't expecting it. I know, but Timo's is just Timo. If you met Timo,
um,
you would understand what that statement means. But Major Pano and Oromakar? What?
so we and there's more Rebel Strike Team on its way at some point, but we felt these were pretty good and ready to be released into it. We really like the designs on them. Rebel Strike Team kind of needs a Deidre type character. Pano fit it perfectly. Oromarco is great. Don't forget also Critical Error Reveal pulls him.
Yeah.
Um, so that card hopefully we'll see a little bump in play too. It just seemed like they're good fun cards that kind of push the deck a little bit further, and then maybe there's even a little more on the horizon at some point.
So and Oromakar helps out with the epic event. So if you do want to blow up the bunker, he helps out with that as well. So I like that. And then he actually helps you just not have to like with the drain race, like being able to cancel just a force drain just for nothing, essentially.
Yeah, Rebel Strike Team struggles with that. When you're at your site trying to do stuff, they're at your landing site or your back door
Mm-hmm.
killing you. So for one turn, you get the damage off.
And I like that Major Pano works kind of like with the ISB, uh, Deirdre, like kind of like a reverse of her. So interesting to see that. And then we have the Endor Rebel landing site. Again, yeah, I was just going to say that, Greg. But again, making it so that your scouts are deploy -1, defense value +2 helps out with them. And again, the dark side, getting that you have to use a force if you don't occupy with a non-scout character. So again, makes sense. Uh, and again, we have the Wuta V. We have the question in the chat, Chris. Where is she? Where is the Corporal Beezer?
Um,
We want the Beezers. The
um,
people want the
I
Beezers.
I will say this. Originally, Major Pano was Corporal Beezer. For various reasons, we decided to change it to be Major Pano. At some point, I'm sure the world will find out why. But originally, Pano was Beezer.
Okay, so if there is a Corporal Beezer coming out, have you talked to the man himself about what she will be?
I don't think that would be fair since that person owns 98% of the Beezers in the world. So he would have a market share. So if he makes it super strong, he could sell them all and be, a multi-hundred air over and over again.
Well, I mean,
Um, we
I
we we have something in the works. That's all. That's all I
okay,
can say.
okay.
It was Beezer, and due to a great idea by Greg, who does literally everything. If you enjoy this game, you owe Greg a drink of his choice. He does everything. So thanks to a great idea he had.
I personally I don't know why the last like 2 years and before even before that like Greg has been by far the man who needs to be put into the Hall of Fame. Like don't get me wrong, forget Chris Goglin, forget Greg Shaw, Joe Olson, all those people. They can go. They could have waited their turn. Greg Zinn needs to be in.
I don't want to forget those people because they're all great players and also good people. But if I had three votes for most important person in the game, Greg would have four of them.
Oh,
He's
100%.
he's doing it. Yeah, he's doing it all. So
Yeah, the amount of the behind the scenes stuff that Greg does, just not only being the rules advocate at this point, it's it's amazing.
and he puts
Graphics,
up with me asking stupid questions like, "Can we do this? Can we do that? Can we make a card say this?" And he like takes me seriously and never gets mad at me, at least to my face. And he's great. He's great.
Yeah, hopefully Greg will be at Columbus. It'd be great to see Greg. Anytime he shows up is a great time. I know he doesn't like to play the game per se, but we got to get him. We got to do something special for Greg in Columbus. But moving on, we talked enough about Greg's in. Let's talk about some Star Wars cards. We have our light side versions of the Senate Epic event and starting interrupt. It kind of does the same thing.
Yep, same thing. No printed Destiny number. Obviously, proofing picked up R2 and Red 5 is a 0, but was also a 7, so that's the reason for that wording. Good job by proofing.
Mm-hmm.
Stopping that loophole.
I do like that both of them are vote now. Again, very fitting, very thematic, and there's already a light side, there's a light side and a dark side. Now, I'm assuming, and this is just going to be a dumb question, because they're both say vote now, I can't put my light side version of vote now behind my dark side slip, correct?
Yeah, it has to be of the same allegiance.
Well, now, I mean, okay, but if my shields are my sleeves are like dark black, you can't see through them, can I do it?
If you're asking me if you can get away with cheating, my answer is going to be don't cheat.
Yeah.
Don't cheat.
I'm just being the hypothetical person who's like trying to think of like something that might happen occasionally, not suggesting that I would ever do that.
I will say this: if you ever see me playing a Commander Luke deck, I have one of the ones that has the dark side back, one of those like super rare light side Commander Lukes with dark side back. I'm going to be playing it, so you should call me out on it.
I was going to say,
I want to make sure that
so
has the light
fake.
side back.
So what I'm hearing is it's a fake card.
It's a misprint.
No, it's fake.
It's a misprint.
It's a fake card.
So call me out on that.
You went down to your local Kinkos and printed this out.
Oh, I assure you, I did not. It cost a thing. It was more than a photocopy price.
Okay, I like this. We have Carl in the chat asking, does the light side Senate Epic event create enough design space to work for Andor? The TV show, not the character.
No, I think if we were to do Rebel Senate, we'd have to do other stuff. We'd have to create a few more with Rebellion Agenda. I know that was a legacy thing. I think the question is, does Andor create enough content for a Senate theme? I loved the last few episodes of Andor, so who knows?
I'm actually gonna be the one of the few people who have said that, like, I have not actually watched the last few episodes, so
watch the last few episodes. They're really good, Star Wars.
Yeah, my life speech is just too busy with other things, unfortunately. But moving on, we have our few light side other cards. We have Finn, the Resistance hero. He's a ability force sensitive card. If Luke or Paige out of play, or with Janna or Rose, adds a Destiny to power once per game, pulls a non-leader Resistance character of a lesser ability here, and Finn can use Jedi lightsaber.
Yeah, remember all like the early material, the spoilers and stuff for Force Awakens. Finn was kind of touted as a Jedi, and then it's hinted in Episode 9 that he has powers. We were kind of robbed of that story. That would have been really interesting to see Finn developing his powers. So him being able to use the Jedi lightsaber is kind of a reflection on that. We see him try to, but fail miserably using Anakin's. So just the idea that he's... Oh, I saw the movie. He did.
He was more successful. I'm going to challenge you, Chris. Finn was more successful using his lightsaber than Rey was.
You didn't see Episode 7, did you? Finn ended up in a back-to-suit for 7 and 8, and Rey slashed Kylo in the face. Yeah, but just the idea that Finn is getting more powerful and can use lightsabers is kind of what we wanted to get behind that. And it's better that way. You can use Anakin's on Rey, and Finn can still have his own lightsaber.
And then we have, let's keep a little... Now, the Jedi lightsaber will not be a matching weapon, correct?
Correct, because it's not unique.
Okay. Let's keep a little optimism here. I know defensive shields can be a little bit of a hot topic. This one now is getting coded to say that code clears the epic event, or the effect, sorry, will not modify forfeit values. Why now?
Um, Walkers, CP, CPT, CBT, kind of discuss walkers at length. Some tweaks would make it not good. Some tweaks might not be impactful. But what we all realized kind of is the efficiency of ability 3 characters who have great game text. Tarkin's in the deck anyway. Veers is in the deck anyway. There's so many Mitten
I
and
mean,
Paleon. They're in the deck, and so it's not like you're buffing characters that need it. It's just honestly, everyone talks about a design constraint. Code clearance is a design constraint. Making any ability 3 Imperial is a problem. So this kind of just ends that. Um, sure, you can still play walkers the same way, but your lone pilot aboard your starter destroyer is not absorbing 9, and I think that makes a big deal.
yeah, and I know that a lot of people were running like ability 3 characters, like we saw Mithron Renudo, just because he was a ability 3, forfeit 9. And yes, he does make the Eli Vanto in the Dreadnought immune to attrition less than 6, but it's more that he's forfeit 9. And yes, I do agree that there's scanner text, but that's only at that one location. Having to fight through multiple locations of ability 3, forfeit 8, 9 characters
Yeah.
who are just essentially, I kind of hate to say this, you're having characters who are Grand Moff Tarkin, Thrawn, Pelion, Baron Fell, like so many characters in the Walker deck who have the same forfeit of a Luke Skywalker Jedi Knight.
Yeah, it was too
I
much
I have
forfeit
no
for too
problem with
cheap.
the I'm a big fan of like ISB giving the little fort like the ISB troopers higher forfeit. It makes sense. I do agree that code clearance is a sort of like a bad card for in some situations. Why put it on a shield though? That's my only question.
That would be really the only way to do it. We have scanner text, which slows code clearance down at 1 effect. To make it a main deck that you have to run, it just wasn't too efficient. And it's a design constraint. So we now can make ability 3 Imperials without being like, we have to lower his forfeit by 1 or 2 because code clearance will bump it up to ridiculous amounts.
Okay, and understandable. And then moving on, we
And
have
it's thematic. It's on. Let's keep a little optimism here. They have a
yeah.
code clearance. It's thematic. It's
Yeah,
cool.
no, I love the thematics of it. Moving on, we have a good friend, Skywalker Epic Event Helper. You can pull Be with Me. So this is like an episode 7, kind of like a Ray effect. Is that correct?
Yeah, if you follow the trinity of them, it's the Skywalker effects are best star pilot in the galaxy, a cunning warrior, and a good friend. All what Obi-Wan described Anakin as. And each one features the first one's Anakin, second one's Luke. This one obviously is Rey.
And so again, pulling the Be with Me, really good. Again, you're still using like Luke Skywalker, The Last Jedi. Uh, the fact that you can change, so relocating Anakin's lightsaber between Rey and a Skywalker. So obviously Ben or Leia.
Yeah,
If you're
originally it was just between Rey and Ben, just like Episode 9, how they transferred Anakin's back and forth at the end of 9. But then we just figured it could be any Skywalker. Rey has that transient force power thing, so it also makes the card just a little bit more playable.
And the other thing is like, so you can essentially relocate her. So say you have Ray on Jakku, and you have Ben over on Crate. They can throw it across the galaxy.
Yeah, they that's what they do in Episode 9. Yeah, they transform it and teleport it. Yeah. There are obviously a bunch of complicated rules where you can only use one weapon a turn, and I think a weapon can
Mm,
only be like used once per turn or once per battle. I'm sorry. Um, so you got to abide by those. But it's kind of like Ray uses her lightsaber. She gets hit and just transfer it over to Ben at a different site. Saber safe.
kind of like
Or Ben, they go to battle Ben. You transfer it over to him.
Blaster Rack, another bat
Yeah.
mouse abused card.
Yeah.
Courage of a Skywalker. It's a light side loss interrupt that again helps the Skywalker epic event, but it is with a Skywalker effect on the table. Destiny +2 when drawn. You can take a lightsaber from force pile, so you're not just stuck. Oh, I activated my lightsaber. You have a card to get it back. Retrieving Anakin's lightsaber, most probably some would say the most important lightsaber in the Star Wars trilogy
Yeah. Yep.
or ninology, if you want to
Saga.
call it saga.
Yeah, the
There we
whole
go.
saga. Yeah.
And then I do like that again. Hey, it's kind of like always two there are for light side.
It's a direct inspiration for that in down to where it's Destiny 2 but +2 with your ROTS effect on it.
Mm-hmm.
The most important part of this card is the title in the picture.
Oh, the pictures are great.
Scream Skywalker Saga. Needed to get that image back into the game. Hopefully this does it.
That was one of my favorite. Like when I was younger, that was one of my so many favorite images of the game, just because it's so that screams Luke.
Very much toyed with the idea of instead of Son of Skywalker V, making it Luke subtitle and using that as a C slip, just because it's the perfect image, but obviously C slips are terrible. So yeah, hopefully this gets it in the game. And you're absolutely right. Taking the lightsaber in hand for force pile. When you activate Anakin's lightsaber when you're playing Anakin Saga, it's so bad. It's so bad.
Yeah.
So that mitigates this a little bit.
And so we do have a person in the chat saying that they're not a big fan of the code clearance shield. Uh, this I'm not going to call out the grumpy old man who screams at clouds. But we do have Bill in the chat saying there's so many Jedi, he couldn't have one thing for dark side. Bill, Chris will eventually take care of you, one way or another.
Taco Bill saying he
That's
doesn't like
Taco
the
Bell.
shields.
No, no,
They
no, no,
doesn't
no,
like the
no, no, no,
shield.
no, 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 no.
Oh,
The person who doesn't like the shield is a grumpy old man who yells at clouds.
okay, okay.
I'm not gonna tell you.
Sorry.
I'm not gonna tell you who it is.
I assure you, no one's gonna like every card. I've accepted that long ago. Just because people like different things in this game, which is why it's so great. I'm sure some of my favorite cards people hate, and vice versa.
Yeah.
Hopefully, that person finds something else in the set that they like. And I mean that. Hopefully, there's something good for everyone.
All I'm gonna say is, can we get more like light side starships? Like I want more like snub fighters and little things like that. Like don't get me wrong,
Well,
Star Wars. I'm a big fan of like stuff that's other than the Jedi.
we'll go to the
That's
next
the thing.
spoiler, Daniel.
Yeah, why do we do that? Din Djarin's modified N1 starfighter works with Din. Hey, Din is you can put any pilot onto it. Grogu is a passenger. I mean, he's the only one who's small enough to fit the little hole. Din deploys -1 there, immune to attrition less than 5, and then 3 force to cancel a battle. Now, does this get around Captain Canada?
I think he mentions the cards by name, so this
Yeah.
would circumvent that. But this is just once per game, and it's costing you a very important persona into your deck. This is Grief Karga's player card. I think he did a great job with it, and it kind of captures Din, right? He's strong, he's resourceful, he's smart enough to not get into a fight he thinks he'll lose. So it's kind of cool.
And spoiler alert, this is probably my favorite image of all the cards in the set. I'm just gonna throw that out there right now. When again, Greg, the entire graphics team blew it out of the water with this set. Moving on, though, we have Leia's lightsaber.
This was kind of a late addition. I think again everything is collaborative. I think Ryan kind of did a great job with this because Rey in Legend should be a beast. She's not quite there, so this adding to her defense value and immunity is perfect to put her on par with the other beasts, Anakin and Luke, in their sagas. And then it just made too much sense to also work with Ben and Rey. So I think it's a perfect card.
So I know it doesn't give like Ben Solo has still no immunity. That's like my only problem with him. Otherwise, the card's great.
Originally, the Ray mode effect, the good friend, gave Ben Solo immunity attrition less than 4. It got changed to be basically exchange of Skywalker with Ben, like you reviving him.
Mm-hmm.
There's another card that deals with Ben Solo. Hopefully, we'll see soon. That focuses more on Ben. That might give him that immunity that you're looking for.
Okay, moving on. We have our light side errata. Han's heavy blaster pistol, and I'm sorry to say this, I am so happy for this errata. I know it's the third time we've errated this weapon, and I'm seriously like at this point it's just duct tape and hopes and dreams glued together. But holy crap, this card needed it.
One
Please
of the
don't.
errata times doesn't count because it was buffing it, I think. Yeah, rescue the princess, canceling battles, and then shooting at the people got a little out of hand. Obviously, Blassador Kid still works, but Blassador Kid also has a lot of counters and cancelers. So if that's what's getting you, include a very easy to include card. I
Oh,
like that text because Han wouldn't cancel a battle. He would run directly into it, even if he's outnumbered. So Han would never cancel a battle. He'd shoot first and then keep shooting. So I think that's pretty thematic.
that okay. I missed that part completely. I was talking about the once per game can fire
Yep.
during a control phase. That part I love. Like
Sure.
being able to shoot this gun in the control phase, +2 destiny, without like a sorry about the mess as a cost of like another card. What just made Rescue the Princess into a dumb deck that good players use to win events.
I'll agree with that. Yeah, and it being once per game, obviously the Captain Han coming out has a direct interaction with this, so we just needed to curb that in general. But you're right, constantly canceling battle, firing, canceling battle, firing. Hopefully that slows down that play pattern.
So I I think that's all we got in terms of like card releases at this point. Uh, Chris, I know. So apparently, you alluded to a possible Set 26 spoiler. I know we're on the prefaces of Set 25. Can you give the people a little bit of a tidbit of what we're possibly going to see with Set 26, like maybe a theme, or I'm not necessarily saying a card. I just want like an idea. Say like, obviously this one is like map and find what you've learned.
Um, Without saying what a potentially big theme is, a lot of the discussion has been about, and sometimes this creeps up on Slack too, about light side having a card that goes first, whether it's Throne Room or Sanvi or whatever. That has spurned a separate conversation about how cool it would be if Throne Room focused on the rebellion at that moment, at that victory, with just those scrappy rebels. Doing that. So I can say that that's where our some of our talk has been.
We do have a question. If are we ever going to see the broken link of the TIE Defender project for the Thrawn?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Bill Kafer wants more broken links.
Bill Kafer did a great job this week in dropping a spoiler that had a broken link on it.
That's
Broken links are cool because it sets us up for future stuff. Yeah.
okay. So, do you have any? Oh, wait, I forgot. I'm sorry, Chris. I hate. I completely forgot. Greg has notified me that he has something special for everybody for sticking around this long, listening to two old people talk about a card game. The first one is being we're going to have show off the image of the Finn Resistance Hero card. So that image is currently on the screen. Bill, no, people were apparent people saw Senate. So that's answering your question. So I, for one, love this image of Finn. It actually looks like 100% John Boyega. Like, I don't know
Yeah,
where. Like,
it's great.
it's a great image. Again, big props to the artist who made it. The card looks great. I'm definitely ready to put this card into a legend deck or Heck, you can even play him now into like putting him into Skywalker Race Saga.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, putting a ability 4 character into this really good, and then being able to pull a non-leader resistance character. Trying to think of who you would pull with him.
He can get Rose. He can get Janna. Guys that he works with directly. There's some synergy there. The new Poe.
Oh, the ability 3 Poe.
Yeah.
I forgot he's not a leader. So, and then moving on, we do have a dark side card to show off as well. It is the First Order reigns, and the Resistance is doomed. So we're showing off both images for this one. And again, Greg is just the graphics is just killing it with these images. I don't know if you can see them, Chris. I mean, obviously, I think you've seen them, but holy crap!
I have seen them. I can't see them now, but yeah, I know they're great.
Yeah, like I don't think I've ever like as a light side player, I would feel bad putting the subjective out of play once it's on the 7 side because the image is so good.
I won't. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put out a plan. I'm going to go see you around, kid.
Wow. So what I'm hearing is if you're sitting in front of Chris, just be like, Chris, please don't. Just give him those sad puppy dog eyes. Or bribe him. I mean, I hear he likes. I hear he likes
taking any bribes.
Even a Luke Skywalker Jedi Knight.
I got enough.
So that is everything I have for everybody. Chris, do you have any final statements for our audience?
Just that, when the list will go up, in a day or two. We love feedback. Prefer constructive and politely worded, but we love feedback. If we miss something, let us know. If we overlook something, let us know. We want this so badly to be fun. We want nationals to be great. We want things to be exciting. It's the first set in a while where we kind of bombarded everyone with just new stuff. So hopefully everyone's creative juices are flowing, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you all in Columbus.
Yeah, again, big thank you, Chris, for doing this. A big thank you to the design team for designing the cards. Big thank you to graphics, Greg, everybody who's been a part of the set. It is going to be sound awesome. Do we know when the set is going to be released?
I know our target date. Let me talk to everyone before I say anything. So if you think it's going to be late, you yell at me, you blame me.
No, I'm not going to blame you. I know who I'm going to blame. It's going to be Mr. Bill Kafer.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Bill is going to hold us back from this set because he wants less Master Sidious and more Lord Sidious.
It will be legal for nationals. The exact date, let me just make sure everyone's clear with.
Does anybody have
it'll be in the post when
it will be in the post? Okay. So, yes, we're going to allow for some time so people can actually watch this episode on YouTube once it's up there. So I'm going to imagine that the entire list is going to be on the forums maybe in a day or two, like Chris alluded to. So, again, we would like to have some time for people to come back and watch this episode, see the interview with Chris. But until then, that's all I got for everybody tonight. Like I said, big thank you for everybody involved. Thank you, Chris, for coming on. It's always a pleasure. Make sure you sign up for Nationals. Go play some Star Wars cards. Until then, everybody, take care. Enjoy yourselves. Enjoy the rest of your week. Be safe. May the Force be with you. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.